I mean, as I said earlier, it's one of my favourite things to do is to read books that have been influenced by our classic authors. It's just, it warms my soul. Hello my loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten. We are doing my second TBR video for the month. So my first TBR video was Becca's Bookoplathon, which has already been uploaded, so do check that out. We have this stack of books to read for that TBR, and then I want to do my own TBR game. But I did mention in that video how I want to have a master list for my TBR. So basically I'm just having two completely separate TBR lists. So one for Becca's Bookoplathon and then one for this video, no crossovers at all. And then I'm just going to mood read out of those for the month. So we already have 7 on Becca's Bookoplathon, and then with my game it could easily be another 7 books to add to the pile, because with my game I also do a minimum of 5 rolls. I use a 6 coloured sided dice, so if the same colour comes up twice I do a re-roll, but I am sticking to a maximum of 2, so we can have anywhere between 12 or 14 books to read as total in this month. One extra change that I've done is I do now have my final cat figure for my TBR game, but I haven't painted it. So this is just in the place of yellow, but I was feeling lazy. Anyway, I do think that's enough of the intro ramble, so let's choose our 6th prompt and get on with the rolls. Let's go with this one. And that is fantasy or sci-fi. So I have made a couple of changes since last time, where I would have separate prompts for YA fantasy, adult fantasy and sci-fi. I've now just combined them into one prompt that says fantasy or sci-fi. Just makes my life a little bit easier. I don't have much YA fantasy on my shelves that I actually want to read. Same with adult fantasy and also sci-fi, so it's easier just to amalgamate it all. Okay, that's enough. Let's go to roll number 1. The first roll. Pink. And that's animal on the cover. The first roll was animal on the cover, and for that I'm going with If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. This is a dark academia book, but one that I have high hopes for because this is a Shakespeare inspired one, so there is lots of references to Shakespeare's work. I'm all for that. I love it when other books are inspired by other authors. I think it's fantastic. It's one of my things to read those books and then read all the books that inspired it. So I'm really interested to see what plays are referenced so I can go out and read those as well. I'm intrigued. I know some people say it's not as good, like it seems to split the crowd. Some people love it and some people don't like it because they feel the Shakespeare references are overdone. So I'm really intrigued to see what I think. So yeah, dark academia pick. Wasn't expecting that for the first one, but I am feeling it. I feel like we're getting into September, we're getting into autumn. It's gonna be a good time. Okay, choosing another prompt. Anything. I feel like anything comes up quite a bit, but I am not complaining. Roll number 2. Yellow. Fantasy or sci-fi. The second prompt was fantasy or sci-fi, and I've decided to go with the fantasy part and go with a gift that Naomi sent me, and that is The Unspoken Name by A.K. Larkwood. This is one that I had on my wish list for absolutely ages, actually years. I think it was years. I'm really intrigued by this one. It says it's an epic journey begins, and this one is what if you knew how and when you would die. So our main character was raised by a death cult, and she was supposed to gain their most honoured title of sacrifice, but she gets offered a different choice, and what happens if you follow that. I'm really intrigued. The death cult part of this sounds amazing, so definitely again going with those autumn vibes for my reading, so very excited. Okay, another prompt. Feeling this one. A manga or graphic novel. I do enjoy those. They break up the reading so nicely. Roll number 3. Purple. A bright cover. So the third prompt was a bright cover, and for this one I'm going to let you guys choose because I have 2. I'm excited for both, but I just don't know which one to prioritise. So we have either Hex by Jenny Fagan. This is like a time travelling witchy vibe. It's set in Edinburgh, and we are hearing the story of a witch trial that took place. And again, I could go with the autumn fills, but I also don't know if to save this one for October because I feel like this would be a perfect Halloween read. So the other option is Sally Rooney's Conversation with Friends, because that is a beautiful bright yellow cover. And this one, I don't know too much what it's about. I don't really want to know. I just know I liked Normal People. This is another one like that where it's a contemporary. This one came out first, My friends read this one. She also read Normal People. She preferred this one. So I am really interested to see what I think. I kind of think Keeping Hex for Halloween. I do want you guys to choose for me. So let me know which one you think I should be reading in the month of September. Either Sally Rooney Contemporary Conversation with Friends or Jenny Fagan's witchy, darker vibes Hex. They are completely different sizes. Conversation Friends is a bit bigger, but I'm not bothered about the size of these. So yeah, please let me know and help me decide, because I don't know what to do. Okay, the fourth prompt. Let's go with this one. Non-fiction. This is a new prompt that I added in because of the amount of non-fiction that I've been getting, and it is something I really want to read, so definitely had to make it a part of my TBR game. I have quite a few that I'm thinking of for this one, so I'm kind of hoping this comes up, even though that would mean a double. But okay, anyway, let's go. Roll number 4. Pink. A double. Not the double I wanted. That is anything. Choosing another prompt. Highest rated on my TBR. And the first reroll. Green. Read the first in a series. Well, as we said, we got a reroll. Not the reroll I was hoping for, but we did get a reroll. So the first one was anything, and yes, I could have gone for a non-fiction for this, but I really want to use the non-fiction for the prompt, because for the first time. Don't ask me why, I just do. So instead for this one, I've gone with a classic, but a shorter classic, and that's Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness. I really haven't heard too much about this one. I'm not 100% sure. All about Marlowe, who recounts a physical and psychological journey in search of the enigmatic Kurtz. So it's a journey in the heart of Africa. It involves him questioning his own nature and values, but the nature and values of society as well. I'm intrigued. Yeah, like I said, I've never read it. I don't know too much what it is about. I just like having a classic on my TBR, and while I do have a classic on my Bookoplathon TBR, I also wanted one on here, and so ended up going with this one. I am intrigued. We have little pencil scribbles and underlinings, so I actually don't mind that in my books. So yeah, I'm intrigued. I don't know, let me know if you've read this one. I clearly haven't, so we're adding it to the TBR. It's a short one again, so I have high hopes for me to actually be able to get this one read. We've got, there's diary map. Okay, so it looks like the actual story is only 124 pages long, so very much doable. And then the reroll was read a first in a series, and I have been eagerly anticipating reading Monstrous Design by Kat Dunn. This is the start of her, I'm not sure if it's a trilogy or not. I know that the third book is coming out, and this just sounds brilliant. So we're in 17, hang on a minute, is this the second one again? I always do this? Yes, I think so. Yes, this is the first one. And I love the fact that it has a note from Mary Shelley's Frankenstein in here, which I do want to reread Frankenstein in October. That's definitely happening. But yeah, this is one that I've had my eye on ever since I picked it up from Yelk and I got to meet the author, and I heard about all of her inspirations for this book. So this is one to enjoy if you like Frankenstein, which I obviously do, and there's also influences from the French Revolution in here, so I'm so intrigued. It's more of a historical fiction fantasy, and I can't wait to start it. This is the first one. I don't know why I always pick up the second one as the first book, but I always do. But yes, I'm really excited for this one actually. Choosing another prompt. Going with this one. A recent purchase. As always, I'm always buying books. Roll number 5. Yellow. That's a double. And that's manga or graphic novel. Choosing another prompt. A title with one word. And the last roll for the month. Orange. Thrifted. Okay, so the last roll was a reroll, but the first prompt was manga or graphic novel. For this one, I am going with Dead Man's Wonderland Volume 1. This is one that I've had for absolutely ages. It's time I got round to reading it. Again, this is from when I was wanting to dabble in manga, so I got the lots of a first in a series. This is one of those. I think I remember reading this years ago on my phone, but I can't really remember. So I decided to pick it up again last year. Still haven't read it, so this is the time to be picking it up, and I do think Dead Man Wonderland works again with the autumn darker feels. So a quick easy book to read. The last prompt of the month is thrifted, and for that I went with The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. This is one that I got my mum to read first and she really liked it. She thought it was really good. I picked this book up because this title is actually a sentence in one of the short stories from Sherlock Holmes. I had to get it. As soon as I saw that sentence I was like, I recognise that. I swear that's a book title. Researched it. Yes, it is. I want to read it. I'm so curious just to see if any of that short story, I think it was called Lucky Strike, influenced this book at all, because yes, I mean, as I said earlier, it's one of my favourite things to do is to read books that have been influenced by our classic authors. It's just, it warms my soul. So yeah, I'm really intrigued. I don't know too much about this. I don't want to know too much about it. But this is a pretty battered edition, but I'm okay with that. So there we go, that's all the prompts. So that is another 7 books. So this month is 14 books to read for the month, but I'm not going to go through the books that were on Becca's Bookoplathon. You will just have to watch that video if you want to find out what ones they are. But to recap, we have A Murder Mystery, The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, Among Being Dead Man Wonderland Volume 1, Dangerous Remedy, which is like a historical fiction fantasy first in a series of Very Excited, a classic book, The Heart of Darkness. Don't know too much about this one, but I am intrigued. Dark Academia, If We Were Villains. I have high hopes of this one with Shakespeare influences. Wow, we have a lot of influences from other books. Shakespeare, Frankenstein, Sherlock Holmes. That's a good month. Then we have The Unspoken Name for the fantasy prompt. And then finally, you guys need to choose what book I'm going to be reading between Hex or Conversation with Friends. And then that will finish off this little pile of books alongside, as I said, the 7 that I've already got for Bookoplathon. Let me know if you've read any of these, if you have high hopes, or even if you're intrigued by any of these. Also, if you're taking part in Becca's Bookoplathon, and let me know if you filmed that because I would love to see those videos. And like I said, please do help me choose which book to read this month between Hex and Conversations with Friends. So that's it for this month. Thank you so much if you've made it this far. And again, like I said, let me know in the comments below all of those answers to the questions I've already asked, which, why am I going over again? Anyway, thank you so much. If you have made it this far, then let's put a dog emoji for Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. And thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it that thumbs up, subscribe, comment to let me know that you're here. Social media links will be linked below, and I will of course catch you in the next one.